fair. Like, what I'm getting at is, like, the high grade holds on to each and every backpack significantly more strongly than the entry grade does. Despite being the same unit with the same, at least theoretically, the same various hard points. That's why I say the kit must have, like, just imperceptibly slightly too big backpack hard points, because the one review I saw said that his entry grade strike was top coated and the backpack still wouldn't sit in properly.
Shit.
It would plug it. Bless you. It would plug in just fine, but it wouldn't really hold in. I note that I've never had issues with the with my various strikes holding the backpacks in, but therein lies the distinction. Every single strike I've used this on has been high grade. I have not once used this on an entry grade, despite owning two. I just find that funny as I'll get out. They clearly intend you to use this for the entry grade strike, and the entry grade can barely hold on to them.
So I've played the Devil May Cry reboot, thanks to Xbox Game Pass.
Okay.
I should note, for anyone listening, this was the definitive edition, where they fixed some of the problems that were in the game. So the combat's good, because Itsuno, the guy that, made Devil May Cry 5, arguably the best one in the franchise. Better than even 3. Yeah, he worked on the combat. Had them remove a few things from the game that didn't make any fucking sense. And, made the combat not amazing, but passable.
So, in other words, they went out of their way to attempt to fix their shit.
Well, no, I should mention...
Keyword attempt.
No, because the company that worked on it wasn't Capcom, it was Ninja Theory. They outsourced it to Ninja Theory, and they made the original DMC Devil May Cry reboot. And then Itsuno came along and was like, the fuck is this shit? And then worked on it. And, fixed parts of it. It doesn't change... Unfortunately, he couldn't change the story or anything, but at least he made the combat bearable. The story is, they live, but... late 2000s, early 2010s, edgy, fight the system bullshit.
AKA the face some people still refuse to grow out of.
Yes. And people are talking about how Adi Shakur, the guy that did the Netflix Devil May Cry series, is destroying, ruining the legacy of Sparta. Motherfuckers forget that in DMC Devil May Cry, Not only did Sparta not have his cool demon powers that he had in the original franchise, in the original series, he when Dante asks what happened to Sparta, Virgil says he was given a fate worse than death. Cut to Sparta being gagged and bound with BDSM gear, being dragged off in chains by demons.
Ugh.
Like, you want to talk about ruining Sparta? Let's talk about that instead of Sparta apparently being a deadbeat, which I still don't believe because it was fucking Mundus that said it.
There was some rage there.
It's like if in a Batman game or Batman movie, the Joker told Batman that that Bruce Wayne's parents were actually criminals.
Why does that sound familiar?
Because that actually kind of happened in the Telltale Batman game, but it wasn't Joker who told him. It was a different character.
And it's like, bruh, I get the idea of wanting to add more depth and dimension to Bruce's family dynamic, but come on. No character assassinate his parents.
Yes.
Jojo already did the literal job.
Yes. Also, this is like if the Joker told him that his parents were criminals, and everyone reading or watching or whatever believed it. Ah, yes, let's believe the man who doesn't even know his own backstory.
No, you're not saying it has extreme enough. Let's believe the man who refuses to know his own backstory.
Yeah.
Because in his own words, he prefers it to be multiple choice. He doesn't like having a definitive answer. He doesn't like, the mystery and the lies stopping.
Let's believe the man who cut off his own face, murdered Jason Todd, shot Barbara Gordon in the fucking spine, and then took pictures of her naked body to break Jim Gordon. Yes, let's believe the obvious psychopath.
Not to mention half the shit he did to Tim Drake and Batman in the animated series.
Let's believe the fucking psychopath that Thomas and Martha Wayne were hardcore criminals. Like, that is essentially what is happening here with Mundus in the Devil May Cry animated adaptation, because Mundus is the villain. He sent demons to kill Dante and Virgil's mother, branded them with the mark.
Oh, I've got an even worse one.
Branded said demons that survived the mission. Actually, no. He branded them after they found them. He branded them with the mark of his predecessor, who he killed for being an oppressive tyrant and jackass. The irony. Branded them with the mark of his predecessor, who was his mortal enemy, to trick Virgil into believing that Mundus had nothing to do with the death of his mother, and then later admits, yes, I was the one who ordered the attack on your home and had your mother killed. And then had you tortured.
This has all of the energy of Azula telling Zuko, "Oh, father burned half your face and banished you because he loves you."
Exactly.
And wanted to teach you and wanted that for your own good.
But he banished you because he knew he was evil. Like, the fuck you talking about?
there's a reason Zuko in the flashback and even returning to the present day of the episode in question had been chanting the mantra, Azula always lies? It would be like Azula telling Zuko that and the fan base taking her at her word.
Exactly. Like, I don't get it.
Or, even worse, Azula telling Aang that the air nomads were actually the omnicidal tyrants that wanted to spread their influence, and the fan base believing her, despite all of the evidence to the contrary.
These people just want the show to fail. And I hope it succeeds just to spite them. Anyway, hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Cave Vegas Bear here, as always, with Mekumon and the pupper
who is attempting to... Yeah. Both of whom are attempting to keep up with and comprehend the rant.
Yes, the rant is over, by the way.
Like, I've put this channel through so many of my own, it's the least I could do to attempt to sit here and understand when someone else needs to.
It's just, people are so stupid that they would believe the obvious villain's lies just because they hate the show, rather than realize, oh, don't take this guy at his word. He literally admitted to killing one of the main characters, or the main character's mother, 5 seconds ago.
What I find funny is that I've seen the exact inverse of this phenomenon in the Invader Zim fandom once upon a time.
Oh, God.
It goes back to the release of the movie Enter the Florpus, when Gaz admits to her brother that, yes, she does care about him, always has cared about him, and repeatedly mocks and does what she does to him because she knows he can handle it. She never intentionally broke him. Unless he went so far out of his way to be so stupid as to actively hinder her life. And the fan base was roaring, Gaz can't be allowed to have any positive emotional attachment to anyone ever. And I'm like, do you not see how much she values her time with her dad and how she makes an effort to include Dib every single time? It's almost like these characters have more depth to them than you want to admit.
Yep. Alright, so unfortunately Super Robot Wars is
not on break for the moment.
Yeah, not canceled, but it is on break, and I should probably remove it, uninstall it rather, just to free up some space. So today we are instead playing a game called Alchemist's Castle, which was provided to me by a Magic Man TV. Or on Twitter it's at a Magic Man TV. He's a cool dude. I'm assuming dude. I probably shouldn't. Well, it says Magic Man, so you know what? Whatever. Doesn't really matter.
Not, it's understandable. Just move on.
They do these like raffles where like the winner gets like gets a free Steam, like gets a code for like a free Steam game, and I had entered, and I won, and he sent me over a code for a game. Put it in, and I got Alchemist's Castle. I shouted him out on Twitter, and I'm going to give him another shout out here. Thank you again to a Magic Man TV for the game. Don't know what I'm in for here. because I haven't played the game.
So we're going in blind, people. Buckle in.
I did check to make sure that it is, Twitch safe. Also, so to the people watching this, you've heard us talk about Red and how aggravating he can be, and how I tend to groan or roll my eyes at his antics. So yesterday was one of the rare times where we were on the same wavelength, shared the same brain cell, because it was announced Donkey Kong 64 is being released for Nintendo Switch Online for the N64, and he started singing the DK rap, and I was like, I don't remember all the lyrics, but I was like, DK, Donkey Kong, and like
This Chunky, he's dead.
We were going on about that, and Mekubon is just sitting there, like, just blinking, like, did I enter the Twilight Zone? What the hell is happening?
It had to happen at least once. I'm just sitting there with all the math going on around me, like, what the hell is going on?
So, hi, Jiva. Nothing much.
And honestly, like, as confused as I was, it was nice to see you guys on the same wavelength for once.
Yeah, there's been a couple of moments where we've been on the same wavelength, and it's been fun. It's been nice.
Because, like, for as much as we joke at his expense, Red's not that bad a person. He just really needs to learn to slow down and actually let people, talk.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
More so, needs to learn to listen.
Yeah, me and him were singing the DK rap, and Mekumon is just like, what's going on?
At what point did I enter the Twilight Zone?
Aside from that happening, Jiva, you missed me ranting about the fans. Actually, no, they don't even.
I could hear the air quotes.
They don't even call themselves fans. The haters of the Netflix Devil May Cry series. You missed me ranting about them again.
And me attempting to process and understand what he was saying in order to, empathize.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, for all the rants I've gone on with this channel, it's only fair that I let someone else get their issues out, too.
Yeah. It's just human stupidity, honestly.
It's one of the few endless resources that we just cannot seem to tap into.
So, today, as I said, Super Robot Wars has been put on hold because one of our members is currently on vacation for a month. I thought he'd just be gone for a couple weeks. I didn't think he'd be gone for a full month. But regardless, we are playing something new. We're playing Alchemist's Castle, which was gifted to me by a magic man on Twitter. Despite the fact that his profile picture is of a magic dog.
Well, he's a shapeshifter. That's what makes him magic. Really. So, here's an off-topic question for you. You're familiar with Titanic Honor and Glory, that group, yes?
Yes.
Well, from what I've seen, they've been in a little bit of hot water lately.
Uh-oh.
It's largely due to some of their backers being a little angry. Understandably angry, too. Imagine, if you will, you helped crowdfund this game that was supposed to be the ultimate experience in exploring the ship in perfect, historically accurate detail and experiencing the sinking in first person. You follow this for 10 years, contributing your hard-earned money. And then at some random-ass point, they decide to throw away all of their work because a new game engine came out that they wanted to convert the game to instead. So it felt like the last 10 years of work and support were for nothing, and they won't even refund your money.
Oh, that is bullshit. That is the highest form of
Because
bullshit.
they are claiming that they want the game to be as perfect as possible with this new, better engine. They are absolutely doing their work, but the sudden shift to the other engine has left people angry and confused. Because again, 10 years of waiting for this thing, and suddenly, not only are they just getting a spontaneous delay, it feels like they've been getting the silent treatment up to this point. Titanic HG really needs to fix her policy on reaching out and explaining what's going on to the people they are supposed to be making this game for, because holy moly, people have every legitimate reason to be angry.
Yes, they do. Entry number 29. The alchemist waited until his young assistant had fallen asleep before entering his room. The apprentice did sense something and started to wake, but he was too late. The alchemist pressed a cloth dosed with a drug over the apprentice's mouth and nose, and as the young man was forced to inhale the vapors, he lost consciousness. Eventually, he woke up to the sound of an explosion and looked around to find himself outside the castle's entrance, with the door bolted shut, just as he suspected. The alchemist had betrayed him. He had been used for manual labor and to retrieve components from the village. He refused to let things end in such a disgusting manner. He had as much invested in the stone as the alchemist. It was half his. He knew that there had to be another entrance to the castle nearby, even though he didn't know exactly where he would find it. And he would get his revenge. Oh, he didn't know exactly where. He would find it, and he would get his revenge.
Betrayed by a mentor, my life's work taken, and all of it for seemingly no apparent reason. Is it Thursday already?
Is this a Batman villain? Also, Jiva says, wow, they should go to hell. I think she means Titanic people.
Like I said, they are definitely working on it, and they did, at least at first, they had the best of intentions. I just think they're just so engrossed in this project and trying to make it as perfect as possible that they've forgotten to keep contact with the people funding them.
Entry 30. It didn't take long to find another entrance. If he could jump across, he would reach the alchemist's room. Huh!
And the reason I know they're still continuing their work is because they did put out another demo relatively recently.
Entry 31. He couldn't jump across. The gap was just too wide. This one was smaller, though. He could easily make it. Whoever developed this game fucking planned this. They put the note there, up on the ledge, and then strategically put the other note right here where you would end up landing. And again, the gap was wider than it looked. He didn't quite clear it and fell down. The floor didn't look very sturdy.
I swear they had a sense of humor when they did all this.
The apprentice found himself in the dungeons. This was a good thing in his case, as it meant the entrance should be nearby. As he stood up, his ankle turned awkwardly. He had injured it during the fall. He could barely walk. I can walk pretty fine. I can't jump, though.
Well, yeah, you twisted your ankle.
So, on the thing for this game, it said Metroidvania. So I am excited to see.
I can certainly see the influence.
I'm excited to see what kind of upgrades and things I will get. He winced for a second as he saw the bat in front of him. He encountered some creatures in these dungeons before. Most of them are not aggressive, but he had been chased by a rat once.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like, I know they're still working on the thing. They released a demo not too long ago. It's a case of just needing to improve their communication skills.
Okay, so... Oh, shit. Did the rat explode?
Hell if I know.
So, I found the checkpoint. And it healed me, but my ankle is still fucked up.
I think that's just gonna be a scripted thing when that gets fixed.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't sure if the potion he found was made by the alchemist or if it sat there for decades. Judging by what he could decipher of the writings and symbols on it, it might be a healing elixir. At this point, he didn't have much to lose. He drank the potion, and in just a couple of minutes, his leg felt much better. He was able to jump now. Ha ha!
Told you!
It is weird that the jump became the first upgrade. Entry number 1. The castle stood near the village. The castle that stood near the village was so old that no one knew when it was built or who built it. It had been there for so long that countless legends were told about it. Some thought that it was cursed, and others believed that it was built by the devil himself to hide one of the gates of hell. There are some people who laughed at these stories, but even so, they avoided the castle. From time to time, especially during stormy nights, eerie sounds drifted from the castle. Were there dark forces responsible for the noises? Wild animals, or just the wind? No one seemed to agree.
I hear just the wind and my brain cuts back to Five Faces of Darkness when Scourge and Cyclonus and the Sweeps are trying to determine Galvatron's location by studying Unicron's memory bank. As they enter Unicron's head, there is a groan that startles all of them. Right after Cyclonus assured them Unicron is dead. So he claims that must have been the wind. Scourge tells him there's no wind in space, and Cyclonus snaps at him to be quiet.
You may jump after you begin to fall. Aha!
Man, if I was the kind of sadistic sort, I would have recommended Pizza Tower for the stream.
No, thank you. too, on rare occasions, a young man would refuse to believe the superstitions about the castle and decide that he would be the one to confront and dispel them. Few of these brave men ever returned from the journey. Those that did manage to return claim that they found the entrance. However, they all refused to go there again.
Instead, maybe we'll try a more feel-good game, if you call it that, and try a Kirby game instead.
I do have Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
There's that. I've heard good things about Kirby's Air Ride from my cousin. He's played it.
As time passed, the castle became a maze so vast it was impossible to maintain. The last lord to reside within its walls died alone, with no heir to assume stewardship of the property. Nowadays, the castle is surrounded by a very dense forest. It is not hard to imagine how an adventurer who found its entrance may easily get lost in its depths.
I just realized there is another game we could potentially do, but I would have to actually obtain it first. Just periodically do like a Let's Chat stream over Smash Bros. Footage.
Ooh. That?
Like, we are playing Smash Bros. In the background and just kind of, shooting the shit.
We also do that with the AI, too.
That's true.
The village was once surrounded by the castle's walls. As the population in the area increased, the village grew outside the boundaries of the castle. With the passage of time, the village became a center of science and culture. These advancements brought rivalries and conflict to the village. Peasants who lived outside the walls of the castle wanted a peaceful life, so they moved farther and farther away. As years passed, borders and political structures of the kingdom changed. The castle lost its importance and was forgotten. Only a distant small village remained of what was once a great city. A forest grew to surround the castle after its abandonment. Only its tallest tower remains visible from the village. Nowadays, people blame the collapsing of the great city on art, science, and its residents' heretic way of life. So we're in the Dark Ages. These beliefs shaped most of the stories about the city. Many of them described a wise man who succumbed to his arrogance and turned his back on his deities. In the end, it was told that he was punished by his god. Yep. We're in the Dark Ages.
Also, I just realized something. With the options for the next alien idiot hero could unlock an expanded omniverse, it still fits with, for all I know, the next one out of the watch will be someone else important.
Insert maniacal laughter here.
And that response is also technically still accurate. Also, maybe it's just the way my eyes are seeing the bats from this distance, but I swear those look like Golbats. Being like 80% mouth.
I didn't even see a mouth.
Like I said, maybe it's just how I'm seeing it from this distance, but it's like just one big Golbat mouth with the tiny googly eyes and blood on one of the fangs.
Yeah, that didn't work. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, also, according to the Pokedex, it does have some advice for what to do if you who happen to be bitten by a Golbat. Let's see here. Wrestle through papers. Do not get bit by a Golbat. They can drink so much blood that it'll leave them unable to fly. It's basically the equivalent of drinking an entire cow's worth of blood.
Jesus. Also, I'm not really seeing a mouth, but I am seeing what looks like a stinger.
That's what's making it look like a mouth to me. That stinger is like the bottom jaw, with the space in between head and stinger being like the black void of an open, gaping mouth.
I can see it. Ooh, another potion. After examining the potion and taking a cautious sip, the apprentice felt a surge of strength and energy run through his body. He decided to test out his augmented energy on a nearby crate. Yet we can push!
We've got the HM for strength. Huzzah!
Whoops. Damn it.
I said, man, it hates everything.
That it does. Upon his return to the castle, the alchemist wanted to tell the apprentice about the incident. However, the apprentice wasn't in his bed. It took him some time to find the young man. He was searching for him in the dungeons when he heard the apprentice cry for help. The apprentice told him he heard the scream as well and wanted to help. However, he was groggy and stumbled through the broken floor. He tried to find his way back, but instead found himself lost in the catacombs. The two explored, found a few dusty books scattered around, forgotten on the floor from someone else's expedition long ago. The excited alchemist forgot about what just happened. He searched the nearby rooms, and when he opened the last door at the end of the hallway, he shouted triumphantly. Finally, he found the legendary library of the castle. Gigantic rows of long-neglected shelves stretched into the darkness. It was the infinite source of knowledge he had sought for so many years. Huh! I think I jumped too soon. Yep.
Okay, so, since I brought up the Strike Gundam, I don't know if you recall too many Striker packs off the top of your head, but I could definitely still ask which one would be your pack of choice if you were to suddenly obtain a Strike Gundam. We got plenty to work with.
Which one had the guns?
There's a few with guns. You will need to be more specific. Do you recall what color the weapons were?
It was like a light blue, I think. I may be thinking of
Okay,
something else.
light blue was the sword striker.
Okay, so it wasn't that.
Was there like one really big cannon and a shoulder piece?
I think.
That's the launcher striker.
Okay, I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Now, for me, that's a difficult question with the knowledge I have. I think it'd be down to either the Utori striker or the Noir striker for me. The Noir striker is more associated with the Strike Noir, which is a different model of Strike Gundam entirely, but there's nothing that prevents a classic Strike Gundam from equipping it, so... Um... What else we got for options? I think another option I would willingly take would be the gun barrel pack, because that is a whole ass separate mobile armor I'm equipping to my back that could potentially have its own pilot, so I'll have someone watching my back.
Okay.
So, yeah, I favor either all-in-one type packs or packs that let me take a co-pilot in with me. Slightly more relevant to the game we're playing, at least in terms of the medieval fantasy vibe. I am aware that you are her Skyrim character of choice would side with the Stormcloaks. But,
Well, no, actually. My character is undecided simply because both sides of the war both sides have good points, but they also have some really stupid points. For one, the Stormcloaks are unfathomably racist.
like, let's make that clear. It's not necessarily Ulfric Stormcloak himself, just that a fair few of his recruits are.
Pretty sure Ulfric himself is also a little racist.
I said not necessarily. I didn't say he isn't entirely. The Argonians definitely have an argument to make. Which, being fellow beast folk, my Khajiit Dragonborn very much empathizes.
Even though he is a Nord, my Dragonborn doesn't have, like, He's been away from Skyrim for quite some time. He doesn't have the same views as most other Nords. I mean, like things like honor and family and things like that. Sure, that I'm pretty sure that's like ingrained in his blood.
He was raised with what I'd like to call a relative enlightenment.
I'm gonna try this one more time, and then I'm gonna move on to something else.
Now, more so what I was going to ask was, beyond the Civil War quest line, the kinds of values and quests and items your Dragonborn would, take on.
So, my Dragonborn has a vested interest in the history of Dragonborn. History of dragons.
Ah, so your Dovahkiin is a book learner.
Mm-hmm.
Respect.
Even though he is a warrior, he still practices magic. He studies magic. He studies the Thu'um, the way of the voice. But he also went on a self-imposed quest to take out the remains of the dragon cult. The ones that worshipped the World Eater and his like-minded dragons.
Sounds eerily like the quest I underwent to obliterate the cult of Mirak.
Oh, that eventually happened too.
So, yeah, we've established that, your particular Skyrim Nord does a lot to buck the trends associated with the Nords of Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in general, Nords are not seen as the most understanding of other people, other ways of life, or especially magic.
I've noticed. Also, even though it's not really possible in the base game without mods, he also fell in love with a vampire.
Yeah. That could absolutely happen, yeah. Not without mods, but I can see that happening in universe.
He genuinely cares for her, and even if she doesn't feel the same, he'll still be there for her.
Yeah, there's that Nordic loyalty.
He also has a habit of collecting odds and ends. Those dragon priests I mentioned before.
With the masks, yeah.
Yeah, he collected their masks.
My Dragonborn is currently collecting those masks. Though I believe that's because she got the wrong script and thinks she's in a Bionicle game. Because there's at least a handful of mods for Skyrim on PC that let you play as Bionicle characters, complete with, like, reworked models.
Really?
Yep.
I'll have to look into that.
Like, you could actually make your own custom Toa. Elemental powers, armor colors, mask powers. I've seen those mods happen. I'm just convinced they're on PC only because when I tried looking on like Xbox and PlayStation, I don't find anything of the sort.
But yeah, my Dragonborn considers himself
A Nord of culture?
a Nord of culture, yes, but also Tamriel's defender from, if not the physical, then the ethereal. As, again, he doesn't really choose a side with the Civil War, but the dragons, Mirlak, the evil gods, I forgot what they were called. The Daedric.
The Daedra.
Daedra.
The Daedric princes, otherwise just the Daedra.
Yeah, he concerns himself with those rather than some of the more physical problems plaguing Tamriel. Or at least in this case Skyrim.
Understandable.
He had thought about holding council between the Empire and the Stormcloaks, but also realized that they wouldn't listen to him at all.
Unfortunately, my Khajiit Dragonborn came to a similar conclusion.
See, like, in my own headcanon, I like to think that my Dragonborn would actually, first of all, interrupt everything, interrupt the petty squabbling with a foos!
Weakest version of that, shout to make sure you don't, kill someone. Smart move.
And then provide evidence that the Aldari
Altbury Dominion.
Dominion, thank you, were ensuring that the Civil War continued to weaken not just Skyrim, but Tamriel itself. As there are documents that you can get from the from their little
I am aware of them. Yeah, the documents, the embassy, yeah, I am aware of it. Just as upon doing more research, I have learned that Ulfric may in fact be painfully aware of the involvement of the Thalmor and the interest in keeping him fighting, and chooses to ignore them in favor of keeping his fight going for his own reasons anyway.
Yes, but how would the how would the Empire side of things handle that that news?
It honestly depends on who's in charge at the time. I do not see Tully as backing down.
Tullius, no, but the one above him?
Yeah. I could definitely see somebody reconsidering the peace talks and whatnot with the, because of the, you know, the Thalmor suck.
Yep.
So it is here I must again contrast with the antics of my own Dragonborn. Mine is a Khajiit, as I have, alluded to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dominion do not have a positive track record with them, considering they used effectively a glorified parlor trick to make the moons, which are critical to Khajiit religion and mythology, disappear for for an extended period of time, and then bringing them back to convince the Khajiit to join them. Like, let it be known, we don't like the Thalmor any more than any of the rest of Tamriel does.
I've just noticed the modus operandi of the Thalmor. Target the religious aspect of their target. For the Khajiit, it was the moons. For
the north, Talos.
Yep.
And yes, they do this a lot over the centuries because they are hell-bent on making everything that is not elf disappear from reality. The Thalmor want to erase all non-elven life from existence.
Huh.
And then erase the afterlives those lives would go to make sure there's nothing but elf. I say good luck conquering Sovngarde, but that's beyond the point.
Especially after the one thing that could harm Sovngarde gets fucking murdered.
Inside of Sovngarde.
Yep. Enjoy your paradox, motherfucker!
More to the point. This, when it comes to my specific Dragonborn, they also have an interest in ending the war quickly, largely to spite the Thalmor, but also because, well, she lost family to this civil war.
Damn.
And, instead of blaming the Empire for sending them, at least that's what she did at first, once she learned that the Thalmor were the ones orchestrating the civil war to keep going as long as possible, she shifted targets. She's not too fond of the Imperials for drafting her family, dragging them out of Elsewhere and sending them to fight. Let alone when she attempted to follow them into Skyrim, capturing her and putting her on the chopping block next to Ulfric goddamn Stormcloak. But, she's not fond of anybody in this civil war. But for as angry as she is with all of them, she hates the Thalmor more, especially after learning their role in prolonging the bloody conflict.
What about the
Having lost her own family,
What about the current Queen of Solitude?
she empathizes to a degree with the current Queen of Solitude, because having lost her own family, Dragonborn Khajiit here empathizes with those who have lost their own family to any aspect of this pointless conflict. That said, in spite of being angry at the Stormcloaks, she does also empathize with their stated end goal. For a country to be ruled by the people that it spawned, because that is precisely what the Khajiit want for elsewhere. And while more than a few Stormcloaks were quite nasty to our very, very shouty cat, even after the revelation that she was Dragonborn, she does empathize with his, the end goal. She does want Skyrim to return to her people. She just doesn't think Ulfric Stormcloak is the man to lead it.
I can think of a few people who would be a better choice than Ulfric.
Because, in game, I did all of the work I possibly could to study the Civil War and all of its aspects, to do so in character. And do note, the High King that had, Ulfric murdered, he is in Sovngarde.
Oh.
Which means he met his end honorably in combat. So, having gotten his perspective on all of this, as well as, the perspectives of people who were actually present and not just clearly he writing propaganda, Khajiit eventually drew the conclusion Ulfric Stormcloak doesn't really care about the Talos worship. He's using it as a tool to get people on his side to conquer Skyrim for him. Ulfric never cared about Talos. He never cared about anything other than his own personal power. Maybe Skyrim be for the Nords if we stretch it. But he wanted an independent Skyrim led by him. Also keeping in mind, even by the time you meet him, the man's in his 50s. He's not going to last too long.
No, he's not.
Even without the Civil War and ultimately meeting his end at the tip of a blade. And with no heirs, no successors, because how dare he share power with anyone who isn't basically a yes man? What's gonna happen to Skyrim when he's gone? This is also why I don't go with the independent New Vegas ending in New Vegas, by the way, because once the courier's gone, what the hell is Vegas going to do?
Yeah. I can see your point.
I have similar issues with the Minuteman ending, but there's enough of a gray area there. You could claim that the sole survivor trained a successor after the events of the game. You were saying though.
How the hell am I supposed to do this puzzle? I do like that with the NCR ending of New Vegas. I like the implication that if you have Cassidy, she fully intended to break into your room and have sex with you, but she got the wrong room.
That's hilarious.
Instead, she made one NCR trooper feel very lucky that night. And she didn't even really care that she got the wrong room.
He was probably too drunk to care at that point anyway, knowing that particular companion.
Yep.
Note to self, keep her away from Massachusetts so she doesn't end up accidentally finding the addiction curing vault. Barring that, never, ever, ever, ever give her a dick doll. She's probably going to hate you for life.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Potentially. Back on track. This Khajiit does eventually start building a new family in Skyrim, which not only is she incredibly proud of, but when she learned that Whiterun was going to be the source of a major, going to be the scene of a major battle, she raced the goddamn clock to prepare another place to live somewhere far away from Whiterun to keep her family as safe as possible.
Good for her.
I ended up moving them all the way to Solitude, at least temporarily, to keep them out of the Battle of Whiterun. Umra intends to eventually move her family back into Whiterun once the Civil War and Dragon Crises blow over.
Once the dust settles.
Because Solitude's not exactly a great place either. There's some weird supernatural bullshit going on there that makes Solitude nice to visit, but not necessarily the greatest place to live. She was quite frustrated when she learned about that aspect after moving in. She was awoken in the middle of the night to the screams of her children as ghosts had infiltrated the house to screw around with a lot of them. Soul Trap was used a lot that evening. But hey, she walked out of it with 36 newly filled soul gems, so...
Honestly, I'd consider that a win.
honestly, at this point, the Khajiit is considering offering her services not just as the Dragonborn, but as an exorcist. Because give me enough empty soul gems and enough time, I will eradicate the entire haunting problem this city seems to have. She's got a special soul gem saved specifically for the spirit of Patema. The Wolf Queen, or, one of Skyrim's most powerful necromancers. Umra plans to trap the soul of Patema in this particular stone, this particular soul gem, then go all the way to Elsewhere and bury it in the deepest ditch she can find.
I just imagine like our two Dragonborns just like in some realm in between, just talking like about the similarities and differences between their own worlds.
Oh, you dealt with the Mages College? That was bullshit, wasn't it?
Bullshit of the highest caliber.
Khajiit knew she should have stabbed that elf on sight.
Well, at least when he got what was coming to him.
Agreed. Plus, Archmage quarters is pretty comfy, so can't complain.
Yeah, there is that.
So, how did you finish off Alduin?
Oh. Same way I finished off all the dragons, honestly. Well, the ones that served him, at least. I ate his soul. And then, used it to learn a dragon shout. And I made sure it was one of the more ridiculous ones.
I used it for Animal Friend.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why didn't I do that?
Oh, I could also imagine they're comparing notes on their respective Stormcloak rebellions.
Oh, yeah.
When the Lord Dragonborn here, her Khalid, learns that Umra joined the Imperials to squash this rebellion, but had her own reasons for doing so, that's gonna be like an awkward conversation.
So you joined the war.
Khajiit's sympathies truly did lie with the Stormcloaks, but they were doing it all wrong.
Well, I agree.
Skyrim would not survive a war with the Thalmor after a Stormcloak victory.
Well, I agree with that. It's just...
If I had not intervened, there would have been much more death.
I suppose there would be.
Many soldiers return home to their families because I took on strongholds by myself. There is obvious regret that she couldn't save more on either side.
And then she learns where the Nord Dragonborn is, his stance on the war, what his stance on the war is.
She cannot say she agrees with staying out of it, but she does understand it. Considering you've had a pleasant and downright civil conversation up to now, she's not inclined to draw her blade.
Thank goodness for that.
Plus, you were arguably the first Nord in a long time to not treat her as a common criminal, skooma addict, or thief because Khajiit. So, there's the common courtesy for that. She does ultimately revel in recounting the utter despair many of the Stormcloaks displayed when the Dragonborn that should have been the savior of Nord kind, according to their legends, turned out to be a Khajiit.
Oh, their faces must have gone pale. Well, paler than usual.
And that same Khajiit would then go on to off Ulfric's Stormcloak the same way he offed the High King. I ended him with a full power Fusro Da. One, because that's the most iconic shot of them all, and two, at the time I finished the quest, I did not have the third word to the Fire Breath shout. Either way, poetic justice was done, though it was more than Ulfric deserved, because had it not been for the poetic irony of the shout, I would have refused to give him the satisfaction of being ended by the Dragonborn. The mere fact that you asked to die by my blade means that, for all intents and purposes, I should have refused you.
I also just imagine, as they're talking, Callan talks about how he focuses less on the Civil War and more on what he believes to be the real threats to Skyrim. The dragons, the vampires.
The Aldmeri Dominion.
The Aldmeri Dominion.
Who are clearly going out of their way to kidnap people.
Miralac.
And the Khajiit offers the mask from her defeated Miraak to help with the quest to stop Callan's Miraak. Assuming he hasn't already done so. Because that mask can be hella useful. I still also like to imagine that because Callan's focus is on the things that go bump in the night, Ubera eventually shares the story of how she got like over 30 soul gems in one night because the house she moved her family to wound up being haunted. Well, that's weird.
What? Oh, the box?
It was like just bare. The box was just barely on the tip of the landmass and just refused to fall. Oh, you married a vampire. Because she came this close to marrying a werewolf.
At that, Callan would definitely get a laugh. Because 9 times out of 10, he is a werewolf. He ends up joining the companions and becomes a werewolf.
I gather. I was just trying to think of a way to say so in character as Khajiit there, but she admits that she did join the companions for a while, but realized she just kind of didn't vibe with them. It wasn't even for a disagreement on policies or whatever, she just didn't feel like she belonged.
I can just imagine, like, Umara says, oh, you're in love with a vampire. I almost married a werewolf once, and then Callan just starts laughing. And Umara, confused, just goes, I don't understand what's so funny. Callan just goes, I am a werewolf.
Just a bewildered, if mildly amused look.
Oh shit, that whole floor is just spikes. Okay.
Has Khajiit introduced you to Potema? She pulls out a specific soul gem.
Wait.
This one gave Khajiit quite the hassle, she did.
That's the Wolf Queen, right?
Yep.
You put the Wolf Queen into a soul gem. Respect.
She put up quite the fight. But I was better. And Khajiit's blade of choice certainly helped. She unsheathes Dawnbreaker for like a moment or two before putting it back.
Callan's response is, oh, you too, huh? As he also pulls out Dawnbreaker.
In Khajiit's line of work, you would be surprised how often she encounters the undead.
Same. It's actually kind of odd to think about.
So many ruins. So many Draugr.
So many Draugr.
Some of whom have the audacity to still shout!
Yeah, those ones have been a pain in the butt.
Especially when Shout knocks weapon from your hand.
Oh, yeah, that one. That one. I think I always have backups.
I usually have to scramble for mine. At least, shouting them on fire certainly gives you the room of opportunity to do so. Yeah, comparing notes, just sharing stories of their adventures, I could definitely see them doing that. Yeah. So you almost married a werewolf. Who did you end up marrying? And so introduces her husband, who is one of the Argonians that had lived outside of Windhelm for so long.
Ah.
I believe his name was Swims in Deep Water. Something to that effect. I would have to pop up the game again to know for sure. It turns out they have a nice little lucrative business going on. When Umra's not saving the world, she's plundering these ruins and other places for valuable items to sell in her husband's shop.
Oh, I just had a thought. He learns that, and then Callan's response is just, you have a shop? I just went to whatever shop I could and just sold what I had on me. I become a very rich Nord that way.
Eh. I have my own methods, but my children are not wanting, which is all I could ask for. And thanks to the mods I typically play Skyrim with, there are her adoptable Khajiit kids that I tend to take in.
Makes sense.
The Dragon Board will tell you all sorts of embarrassing but adorable stories about her cubs.
Callan himself doesn't have children. At least, not yet. He has a bit of the wanderlust. He has a house, he just doesn't use it often. If anything, he just uses it for storage.
Likewise, Umra has a particular item of amusing nicheness here, but She's got a bottle of Cyrodiilic brandy and a separate bottle of Argonian blood wine, either of which to be open once her mission is truly complete. Wants the Thalmor burn for her insistence on destroying everything that is not them.
Yeah, if I thought about it, I would have brought Alduin straight to the Thalmor.
I'd have locked him in the Thalmor homeland and just said, go nuts. What, you expect me to stop him from eating the things that were going to destroy the world? They're going to be competing for that.
Hey, Alduin, these elves think they're better than you. They think they can destroy the world. That they can destroy the world better than you could. You know, the son of Akatosh.
These mortal elves believe themselves better than their dragon masters, and wish to eradicate everything that is not themselves. Now, last I checked, wasn't that your job?
Also, in regards to Parthenax.
Oh, I spared him without hesitation.
Same.
When a certain blade insisted on killing him, or else there'd be trouble. Well, there is no mod I know of that lets you do this, but Umara introduced her to the sharp end of her blade.
There is a mod that lets you that allows you to not kill Parthenax and still like keep the blades happy.
Yeah, Umara had no attachment to the blades in the first place, so she was willing to put the last of them in the ground. A different Dragonborn at a different time and place might have spared them. Found a middle way so that everybody can continue to live on and be happy.
Callan pleaded with them, but when they showed no sign of relenting, he left for the throat of the world. And as far as they know, he's still up there. He's not, obviously.
Umara visits the Throne of the World frequently. She brings chessboards whenever she goes up. Be it with the Greybeards or with Parthenax himself, they do play games. Chess is about the only one they'll willingly play, so Umara still has to learn the rules. But, you know, small price to pay learning a new game. This also allows Parthenax to indulge in his love of conversation for like a little bit. Short bursts.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the fact that even the game acknowledges that dragon versus dragon fights are just shouting matches. Now, if it had been Umara at the end of her story that Callan met in this nebulous void, Oh, it would be a very different Tamriel he'd be getting a glimpse of.
Oh.
First off, the Thalmor would be extinct.
Ooh.
And it would be quite the tale to tell of a Khajiit just marching herself right into the center of the capital city of the Thalmor's empire, shouting a simple 3 words, and summoning a horde of spectral dragons comprised of the souls she has absorbed to
Ooh.
raze the empire to the ground. To raise the Dominion to the absolute dirt. A shout that she developed herself specifically for this purpose. Paarthurnax was none too happy about learning she was doing this, but also opted not to stop her because it was ultimately her choice. Largely, I think, because Paarthurnax understood what was at stake. And the consequences of letting an empire determined to erase existence live. I keep describing them as an empire, but I have to remember, they're not the empire that you side with in Skyrim itself. They are the Aldmeri Dominion. I should be calling them the Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I've seen them go by the Thalmor Empire also, but again, for sake of avoiding confusion. But yeah. I can imagine there is just a single question asked. How do I learn this shout? Between the two Dragonborn. Because pray to Akatosh, you never need this.
Oh, what do we got? The apprentice found some explosive vials. Ooh!
You'll have bomb! You can finally fight your enemies. You'll just also have to be careful you're not too close to the explosives so you don't damage yourself. Interesting, you can break boxes with them.
Oh, this actually might be a game changer. Hold on. Aha!
I would have recommended touching one of those checkpoints to get your health back.
I'm not near one, unfortunately.
I just had an idea. If you have one of those, like, solid wooden platforms there to work with, maybe you can blow those up with bombs?
Like one of these?
Yeah. Like, blow up a fragment thereof. Probably don't want to get touched by that.
There we go.
Ooh.
Yep, there we go. Fuck, I needed that. You're right, I should have...
You have to pick up...
I have to pick up the explosive again.
Oh, god damn it.
You were right, I should have went for the checkpoint.
Because, like, not for the reasons I was saying, but you absolutely should have. But at least we're both acknowledging this, so it doesn't feel like, backseat gaming. I just wanted to help. Okay, you can't blow those up. Noted.
Unfortunately.
Honestly, that might be more of a benefit than a hindrance. Ugh. There was one specific caveat to the summon dragon souls shout there.
Oh?
If you don't want Alduin to manifest, this shouldn't be a problem for either of us because we've already spent that soul. Don't have it available to be summoned. If you don't want to accidentally bring Alduin back in spectral form, spend that soul on a shout. Like I said, Umara spent it on animal allegiance, so no problems there. Though in hindsight, she believes that if she had thought about it at the time, she would have saved his shout, like his soul, specifically for developing the soul manifestation shout. Turn him into the shout he can never be he's summoned by.
That would be interesting, actually.
Man, that thing eats a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of eating damage, I also imagine one informs the other of a cult of cannibals that needs to be taken care of. Because there's always that one in Skyrim.
Yeah.
To the point where there's like a Daedric artifact specifically centered around the ugh. I kind of find it hilarious how I noticed that like a lot of the characters that I have created are typically some level of horror. Like in the case of this particular Dragonborn, she's responsible for the genocide of an entire species.
Yeah, that is a little fucked up.
And then there's the Majin I've built for Dragon Ball Xenoverse, who is herself basically an eldritch horror.
A living extinction event.
If I had a nickel for every time I've created living extinction events, I'd have at least 2, which isn't a lot, but, you know, that's still 2!
That's still alarming.
I guess what you've said before really does hold a grain of truth. Sometimes the people who just try to be the best people they can make some of the scariest horror shit.
Some of the nicest people can make some of the most fucked up stories.
Yep. What alarms me is that you have said that specifically about some of my own fan fiction in the past, so... Whew.
If you really wanted to, I can imagine you writing a very effective horror story.
The problem with that is that the horror does not come intentionally. If I'm actively looking for ways to introduce horror and scare people, it's gonna come off as trying too hard. Gotta flow naturally. I gotta not think about it. After all, the best horror is the stuff you only realize is horror after you've written it.
And I am suddenly reminded of a Simpsons quote. The best meat's in the rump.
Ah! I haven't watched Simpsons, so I don't fully get it, but that's still a funny little quote.
Alright, so I now have sprint. Which means I can jump farther.
You can run faster, jump farther, but you'll still die to the same 3 bats.
Go away, rat!
I think the closest I got to writing intentional horror was to bring this up again. That Fallout Rescue Bots crossover.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's the rare case of I understood the horror vibe that Fallout goes for, so I was able to work with it. Like, that is the caveat to I have to write the horror unintentionally. If I understand how the vibe works ahead of time, that comes much easier. Figuring it out for myself, not as much. Might have to just go back to the platform with the spinny saw blade just to hit that thing with the bomb. In which case, good luck not getting hit by the spinny saw blade.
Haha!
Booyah!
Oh, that sucks.
That is awful. Unfortunately, a thing that does happen IRL because people are irrational, but still.
So, did I tell you that my town is getting a theater again?
Ooh.
The guy who recently, well, I say recently, but the guy who bought a few theaters in the towns north and south of me, bought up the AMC theater, and we're gonna get a new theater by the end of the year.
Nice. I wish I had something like that. Last time I saw a theater anywhere near where I lived, the theater was already closed down, and that entire section of plaza was being rebuilt into a ShopRite.
Damn.
Honestly, I think it was a fair trade. The ShopRite's actually really nice. It's a bigger store with a lot of variety. Like, I think it was worth losing a theater that was basically already closed when I got there anyways, and a GameStop that was never all that crowded in the first place. Among whatever other buildings were in that particular part of the plaza.
I was standing on top of the spikes. What the fuck?
Well, you weren't on the pointy end. I've seen that happen in Sonic games, too. If the spike is coming out of the walls, but you're standing on the flat end... I'm still not entirely sure that wasn't a glitch, but... You know, if that was intentional... then I see no issue with it. Because there is logic to why that wouldn't hurt you.
Because you're not standing on the pointy end.
Oh. Did I tell you that our little Toa team in the Bionicle thing that I will be writing has gotten another member?
Oh, no.
Armorhide actually got interested and had started building a Toa for himself.
Nice.
This team now is comprised of a Toa of Lightning, a Toa of Iron, a Toa of Psionics, and now a Toa of Plasma.
Interesting.
I feel like if I hadn't introduced that option, we would have had a Toa of Fire instead. But, regardless, we are now 2 Toa off from having a complete team of 6 assigned to this one courier.
Nice. I have a double jump.
Woo! That's gonna really help in the long run. Honestly, that might help us solve some puzzles we couldn't actually do before.
Oh, yeah.
A part of me is half wondering if I could get bourbon on this, but I doubt it.
Oh, I could have double jumped. Damn it. Yeah, I doubt.
Hey, it's still new.
I doubt Burb would be interested. I don't think he was a Bionicle kid.
No. A Lego kid, yes, but Bionicle kid, no.
I may have messed this up.
Not necessarily. Oh, I see what you need to do now. You are making a stack of boxes. One that you'll have to double jump onto. Like, before you push any boxes down there, let's get a look for a moment. One of these two boxes down here, yeah, you see what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. Why did I do that?
Okay, now either you'll be double jumping off of that crate where it is, or you'll be stacking this on top of it, and yeah, there we go.
Ah, fuck!
We had the right idea. It's just we gotta refine the execution. We can do this.
Just wondering if that would do anything.
If it does, you would need multiple hits. It is made of metal, after all.
That is true.
Oops. Just that oops.
God damn it!
See, that's the kind of response we should have to getting stuff like this going on. Amusement and laughter, much better.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. That's okay. I think if we'd... Okay, good. Okay, I got an idea. If you get back onto that metal one and toss a bomb into that corner, yeah, you'll destroy the... you'll potentially destroy that head. Okay, yeah. I was thinking maybe destroying the box in the corner so you can just push from there and then double jump onto the metal one, but like, yeah.
The physics in this is finicky.
Very. This is still fine. This is still fine. Now it is not. So, while I'm talking Bionicle stuff, you want to hear a fun fact that I stumbled across?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a set of 6 silver Borok from the year after the original 6?
The Borok Call?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember them.
Well...
Ah!
Booyah! Victory! So, you know what happened to most of them, yeah?
No, actually.
I'll save the specifics for some other time,
Yeah.
but the long and short of it is they got destroyed. There was a brief moment of crisis of conscience from the Toa Nuva, but as Kopaka put it, they don't live as we understand life, therefore they cannot die as we understand death. As per usual, the Borakal itself is just a vehicle for its Chronicol to drive around. The Chronicol themselves have personalities and memories that are kind of kept in a little save file thingy, like a memory bank inside of the Borok that is only active when the Borakal has a Chrono.
Ah.
Now, the bodies of all 6 Borak, well, 5 of the 6 Borakal were destroyed. 4 of the Krana from those guys were recovered and imprisoned. Now, I bring them up because we had, like, back when Greg Farshi was still answering questions, he said that more than likely, after moving to Spherus Magna, the Borok Queens likely made 6 new Borok Kal and new Chronicol to fill them.
Interesting.
With their mission now redefined, with a focus now on helping the Matoran as opposed to cleansing the islands, it's likely the personalities of these Chronicol and those Borakal are going to be different. In a post-Matanui universe here, it's basically become a headcanon of mine that the Borok Queens only really interact with the Toa Nuva. The ones who initially imprisoned and then released them because, well, you understand how we work now. We can negotiate with you. It's like a really good thing that one of the things they did when releasing the Swarm Queens was explaining you were released at the wrong time, your mission was too early. We are here to release you now. Even so, what I'm going to make here is the Borok basically now have a say in Spherus Magna's political structure now that they're rebuilding.
Interesting.
Thanks in large part to the 6 Borakal having individual personalities, not being a part of the hive mind. So they're effectively they're here on the behalf of the Balrog Queens, but well, yeah, they're they're the Queen's representatives. We might need to time the pushing of the wooden crate better.
Yeah, but we're also past 2 hours.
Fair enough. And we're on a checkpoint anyway.
This game is fun, though.
Oh yeah, I can see us coming back to it.
Absolutely.
Continue this next Thursday then?
I was thinking of something else on next Thursday.
That's fair.
I just gotta remember what the fuck it was. Oh, right! Call of the Elder Gods.
Deva's not somehow there for that stream. That's gonna be unfortunate, but we'll do the stream anyway.
Yep. I think he's got that new job now.
I mean, yeah, better that than be unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a world where everything's getting increasingly expensive, having a stream of income is important.
Alrighty. Thank you all for watching. This has been Vegas Bear 92.
And an off-topic, as usual, Mekumon.
And a Sleepy Bella.
Puppy.
And we will be back tomorrow with Arkham Asylum. And I'm also very tempted, once we're done with Arkham, like the Arkham series, I am tempted to say fuck it and then play Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight.
The spoiler ban on that will have been lifted by then, so absolutely.
If it hasn't already.
I'm down for that. What I'm saying is, like, it will be guaranteed gone by the time we get there.
Yep. Alright, so, as always, if you like what we do and want to see us keep doing it, feel free to support us in any way you wish, whether it be monetarily or through engagement. Every little bit helps. And stay safe, stay comfy, stay hydrated, stay healthy, be good to each other, and we'll see y'all.
Screw the Thalmor.
Screw the Thalmor, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.